What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Believe in Kentucky. My name is Vinny Hardy, courtesy of the Believe Network is reason we are here. And of course, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. Taking a little break from the Mark Stoops, Will Stein hiring and firing, and going to talk a little basketball. Friend of the podcast, he hosts the Rocket Fuel Pod. He writes for SI. I'm going to ask you about everything because I'm probably leaving something out. Lachard Binkley is here, covers the Rockets. We're gonna talk a little Reed Sheppard. Gonna talk Houston Rockets. Man, appreciate you hopping back on here. It's been a little while, man.
Yeah, it's been, I think, right when Reed got drafted, if I'm not mistaken, the last time I was on here.
That's it. That was the first interaction we had. I
Yeah.
was, thinking it was gonna be the Rockets as a Rockets fan, hoping it would be the Rockets because just the selfish, Kentucky guy go to
Yes.
Houston. And
Yes.
so reached out on the network and believe.com, BLEAV, and y'all can find Lachard there, Rocket Fuel Podcast. So reached
Yeah.
out and got you on just to get the perspective from the pro city, the NBA perspective, because I covered him in college, watched him in high
Yeah.
school and all that, and just wondered what y'all were thinking. And that's the first time we had you on, man. So
Yeah. Had a great time. I'm glad to be back.
yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it. So in case I did miss something, tell everybody everything you do as far as Rockets wise, how you cover them, how you write, how you pod, all that, man.
Yeah, you got the main parts. Yeah, host Rocket Fuel podcast. Try to do a little bit of everything there: podcasts, highlights, press conferences. Pre and post, whatever I can, put on the channel. Also, a ride for Rockets on that side. On the written side, I'm usually on Fox 26, which is a local channel here in Houston, like once a week with Nate Griffin. Early in the morning, talking Rockets. So if you're ever in town, it's usually on a Tuesday or Wednesday. If you're ever in town, definitely check it out. I'm usually on either at 5 or 7 a.m. in the morning. So
Okay.
for all the early birds out there. So yeah, those are the main things. And of course, you find me on Twitter. Try not to get in trouble at Binkley Hoops. So yeah, it's pretty much everywhere you can find me.
So are you born and raised in Houston, from Texas, the whole
Oh
deal?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, born and raised in Houston. Yeah, been here my entire life. Been a Rockets fan my entire life. Long before I even thought about doing this writing thing. I wasn't even thinking about it back in the day when I was screaming my head off, watching the Keem and Ralph Sampson. That's how far back I go. All the way through the '90 championships and Yao Ming, Tracy McGrady, those years, and the James Harden years, and of course now. So yeah, entire life been a Rockets fan my entire life for 4 decades now, man. Wow, getting old, but
So yeah,
yeah, born and raised in Houston.
figured we was probably in that same age neighborhood.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, getting pushing that 50, but got to keep going
Yeah.
forward.
That's right. That's right. So like I said before, I'm a Rockets fan. I guess from a distance. I've only been to Texas once,
Oh,
and
okay.
never been to Houston. I got to get down to your city. Got to get down to
Yeah,
Toyota Center. I got to
absolutely.
check all those boxes. I gotta get on that. But growing up in Kentucky, no pro teams, so you're
Yeah,
kind of a free agent. I always wondered if I grew up in a city, I would probably just adopt, every team in that city, wherever city it was, Chicago,
yeah,
Houston, Atlanta. But you're gonna hate this. My dad was a Cowboys fan, so I grew up and went that route. That's the only
Oh,
pro
not,
teams.
not to interrupt you. It's just so funny because my dad is a Cowboys fan too. I've never understood it, and he's always giving me a hard time. Like you should come be a Cowboys fan. I could just never do it. But I don't know. It's something about dads. I guess they just like the star back in the day. 'Cause my dad, he's a Texans fan too, which is just it's kind of hard to figure that one out. But hey, I don't knock them too much unless the Texans are playing the Cowboys once every 4 years or whatever they play them. But yeah, it's something about dads and Cowboys. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so I just kind of followed right along with that. As far
Yeah.
as the basketball, he was a Lakers fan. Baseball,
Mhm.
he's a Mets fan. So, growing up in Kentucky, you can kind of be a free agent. So
Yeah.
when we were coming up, as you probably know, you had the TBS, the Superstation in Atlanta. So
Oh
you
yeah.
got Braves games, Hawks games. So I'm, Braves fan, Hawks fan. Will Murphy, Neek, rode with the Hawks until they traded Neek to the Clippers. And
Wow.
the kids nowadays don't know how bad the Clippers were when we were coming up.
Oh God.
Yes. Jay Leno used them as material. David Letterman used them as material for their monologue. And then you trade him there for Danny Manning. And
he never panned out, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm 16 years old. Neek was larger than life, just like Dream was for you. If I'm 25 or 30 and married, if the Hawks make that trade, I'd be mad. But I'm paying bills and grown. I probably wouldn't have been as mad as I was as a teenager. But I had to switch teams. I had to drop the Hawks the moment that hit Sports Center, and
I remember that.
Dream was my second favorite player. And so I've been a Rockets fan ever since, and I slid right onto the bandwagon for the back-to-back titles, and been riding with him ever since, man. So
we don't even talk about his Toronto days. That doesn't even count. That 1 year in Toronto. So we just really forgot all about that.
And all those stuff, Patrick Ewing in Orlando, and Emmitt Smith in Arizona, Jerry Rice with Denver and Seattle, and
the Raiders. Didn't he also play for the Raiders too?
Yeah. So it's hard for anybody to finish where they start nowadays. Dirk did it. Tim Duncan. I don't know if we'll see that kind of stuff anymore.
I don't know. Like even in Houston with James Harden, people thought he was going to finish his career here, and we saw how that worked out. So these days you're not usually going to stick with one team, unfortunately.
That's it. So the Rockets, man, you got Kevin Durant. Got the first, what would you say, bad loss or loss to a bad team against Utah the other night. All the other losses, I would consider quality losses, right?
Yeah, Utah. And I can't say I'm surprised because they beat Utah so bad the night before, and they're an NBA team, and you already knew. Will Hart is actually a really good coach. NBA, of course, knows him very well. And you kind of knew that they were going to come out and fight hard that game. I think the Rockets, I won't say that they took them for granted, but I think that they won so easily the night before. They maybe thought that, no matter what we get down, we can still come back. And they did come back, but they just couldn't finish it. But, they lost against Detroit, who's the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. They lost against Oklahoma City, who's the number one seed in the Western Conference. You lost against the San Antonio team at the time that had Wembanyama. And then you lost to, Denver, which is the second seed in the West, or at least at the time was the second seed in the Western Conference. So, last night's loss was definitely disappointing. It was a bad loss. There's no way around it, but not exactly surprised either that happened, because this is really hard to beat any team in the NBA 2 times in a row on their home court, especially after you just blown them out the night before. So, but the Rockets just about not making it into a losing streak at this point.
And flashing back to opening night at OKC, it's their ring night, and the Rockets, as they're currently constructed, first real game together, and if several different plays, but if KD hits a free throw, they probably win that. So, you on your episode, you talked about your last episode, KD being out for 2 games, due to the personal reasons, and the shuffling of the lineup. Reed Sheppard was playing a factor, and he's already been playing well prior to this increased minutes with KD being out, right?
Yeah, he had already started to play well, and he started to gain inmates' trust to where, he was already playing 20-plus minutes a game. And then once KD went out, of course, no surprise he went to the starting lineup with Josh Okogie, and really no surprise when KD came back that he stayed on that starting lineup, because, he was shooting at the time over 47% from three-point range. And it wasn't just the 3-pointers he was making, it was just the way he was scoring. He was extremely confident, especially in that Golden State game, which I'm sure mostly everybody saw because that was one of the primetime game. He was the main reason they won that game. Without him, they don't win. And he's just a totally different player than he was last season. At least his way he's shooting with confidence now. Like at the beginning of last year, it was time where he wouldn't even shoot the ball, and that was something that Emmitt talked about a lot. It was that if you're on the court I expect you to shoot the basketball if you're open. I don't care who you are. And at times he seemed kind of hesitant, which is not, a huge surprise. You're a rookie coming into the NBA, and he's a rookie who was coming into a team that wasn't a, bottom feeder team. So it wasn't like he was able to go out there and get 20 shots a game like most top 5 rookies are able to do. So it was a learning curve for him. The speed of the game was, extremely fast compared to college basketball. So you can definitely tell he's a totally different player this year. It was one time he came down the court. He had KD on one side and Alperen Sengun on the other side on fast break. And in the past, he definitely would have deferred to one of them, but he pulled up and shot a 3 and made it and didn't hesitate at all. So you can definitely tell he's in a whole different frame of mind right now. And the main thing for him now, of course, is just to continue to work on becoming a better playmaker and also becoming a better one-on-one defender, because he's already one of the better players when it comes to steals in the NBA already in his second season. Just the other night, he had 4 or 5 steals, which was a career high for him. So he's already great at anticipation. Right now, it's just about him being better as like just a one-on-one defender. But offensively, he's pretty much doing everything you would want him to do on the court.
So based off what you just said, I'm going to throw out a couple references.
Yeah.
And you definitely going to know exactly where I'm coming from. So the pull-up 3, cold-blooded, with confidence, I'm not deferring. I'm coming down here. I'm shooting this thing. The first guy I saw do that, he come 1-on-4. Nick Van Exel come down and just raise up and wouldn't care. Was Reed channeling Nick a little bit on that?
Yeah, he was channeling the Lakers, Nick Van Exel back in the day, where he just come down and pull up. Sort of also remind me of like a Mark Price type, because that's exactly how Mark Price used to shoot back in the day. So he definitely got that confidence now. And once he started seeing a few of them go in now, it's pretty much no turning back for him at this point. He's going out there, and I think what's really helping him is also he's kind of incorporating even more in the mid-range game as well, where he's coming around those picks and he's able to get in the lane and hold the defender off and still be able to get that shot off. I think that's really helped him in his overall offense, because he's not just a 3-point shooter. He's kind of incorporating all parts of that into his game. But he's definitely at the point now where he just shoots the basketball. If it goes in, great. If it doesn't, he doesn't exactly hang his head. He'll go back down and shoot 2 or 3 more in a row until one goes in.
Because that was that Warriors game, the primetime game, and I'm glad to see him more on primetime TV. That's what you get when you have a good year. You get rewarded the next year. And I was, starting. I'm like, he's kind of cooling off, but he kept firing. I'm like, okay, Reed. You mentioned defensively, disruptive and being in steals. I don't know if this comparison is accurate or not, but you think about John Stockton with the Jazz, all-time steals leader, but you wouldn't put him in like the category of lockdown defender. Is that where Reed is in your opinion and Ime's opinion, or is he a little more athletic than John and got more potential defensively than Stock, or not?
I think for him he's great at anticipating the steal, but not necessarily when somebody's making a move to the basket. And that comes with time, comes with studying film. There's plenty of players like Fred VanVleet is not the most athletic player in the world, but he just knows how to play position defense to where he's in the right spot, even though he may not be faster than the guy he's guarding, but he knows exactly where they're going to go. And sometimes players are able to kind of take advantage of Reed on that end. And that's what we saw last night. And they lost, and that's why he didn't finish the game, because Ime felt a little bit more comfortable having Aaron out there to finish the game, or Jayshawn Tate, because he needed more of a defensive presence, because the Rockets couldn't stop the Utah Jazz at all last night. So that's just something that comes with experience. Every player has to go through, unless you're like Amen Thompson, who's just a ridiculous athlete and can get beat and still come back and block the shot without barely even trying. But most players aren't like that. They have to kind of get that experience. And once you kind of get really good at doing your own scouting reports and knowing exactly who you're guarding and what kind of their tendencies are, because right now a lot of teams are going at him as soon as they see he's on a certain guy. We saw that a lot in that OKC game, where they were going directly at him every time that he would switch on to whoever the player was. And
Yeah.
like I said, he's getting better, but that's still like probably the one part of his game that he definitely has to, continue to improve on.
You mentioned Amen. He's like the shutdown corner that gets beat on a double move and can still recover and make the
Yeah.
play,
Yeah, it's insane. Like he had a block last night where he's actually guarding the guy, which is like the hardest block you can have. It's a lot easier to come in weak side, but he was literally guarding this guy 1-on-1. The guy jumped before he did, the Utah Jazz player, on a jump shot, and Amen blocked it like he wasn't even like the guy never got off the ground. That's how quick he was. So
Yeah.
yeah, not everybody unfortunately is like an Amen Thompson who could, doesn't really matter if he gets beat or not. He's gonna still be in the play regardless. So yeah, with Reed, it's just it's a matter of time. He'll get better, he'll get stronger. That's another thing, he's gotten stronger since last year, and he'll continue to get stronger, as he goes throughout the NBA.
For sure, for sure. Offensively, for Amen, where do you see his ceiling? And things take time. Same thing with Reed. Amen's a young dude too. When he reaches peak offensive powers, what do you see him projecting into being?
I mean, the sky's the limit because right now he's scoring 20 plus points a game. He can't even make a 3-pointer.
Yeah,
He's actually went backwards to where he was last year. I mean, during preseason, it looked like he was going to be like a 30% 3-point shooter. He was actually, making the corner threes and pulling up at the top of the key. But now that we're in a regular season, he's kind of went backwards. So if he ever gets to a point where he could consistently make corner 3-pointers, which I know that's something he's worked on all summer and something he was actually decent at last year, not so much this year. Once he gets to that point, I mean, the sky is the limit because nobody can stop him going to the basket. He's great in the dunker spot. He's great offensive rebounder for a guard or forward or however you want to put him. So he can kind of do everything else on the court. It's just that his jumper is his biggest problem. So now teams kind of just back off of him and stay in the lane. And that's why a lot of times you see him hovering around a basket, especially when Şengün has the basketball, because that's a lot more easier for him to get a shot off than trying to score from the top of the key and everybody just kind of standing in the lane waiting for him. So if he ever gets to the point where he can make that, even if it's 30% from 3-point range, then he can definitely be. I mean, you start talking about all NBA, not just all defensive first team. You talking about one of the best players in the entire NBA because his defense is already elite, and he's already,
Yeah.
like I said, putting up 20 points a game, and he can't even make an outside shot yet. So just imagine once he start making that outside shot. I mean, I don't know exactly how you stop him at the point because even Giannis, as great as he is going to the basket, he still develop some type of mid-range game to where he can at least score from the free throw line, even if it is like a push shot or a hook shot or whatever it is. So if Amen can continue to kind of work on that and be able to make shots outside of the paint, yeah, I mean it's pretty much no stopping him at that point.
Yeah. And all these analytics, all this either threes or layups, the mid-range ain't going nowhere, is it?
Oh no, especially not with especially not now with Kevin Durant on the team. I mean, I'm actually that's the one thing that surprised me. He actually doesn't take a lot of 3-pointers. He rarely takes 3-pointers unless it's late in the game and he's either trying to get the team Rockets back into the game or he's trying to put another team away. He really, I would say 90% of the time is operating in the mid-range, which is something like I said, because I've watched Kevin Durant like everybody else before he got to Houston, but not every single game, watching them game in and game out. Like he really just operates majority time inside of the 3-point line. And Rockets haven't had that since probably Chris Paul, because even James Harden at that point had kind of moved out to the 3-point line when he started with the Rockets. He was a mid-range guy. So they haven't really had a mid-range guy like that since Chris Paul, because other than that, it's just been threes and layups ever since, Rafael Stone took over the team.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Stone, the way this team is currently constructed, is it ready based on everybody staying healthy and, guys are going to play well and they're going to have ups and downs? Or do you think Stone is going to tinker and maybe add something before the deadline? Or is this team, we good right now?
No, I think they're going to make a move in December because that's when Jay Tate's contract can be traded. Jeff Green, even
Mm,
Jabari Smith, even though I don't see them trading Jabari Smith. Um, Aaron Holiday, all the people they sign in the offseason, that's when their contracts become available to be part of a trade December 15th. So
mm,
I think they make some type of move because even though they have a lot of confidence in Reed Sheppard, I think they still will want somebody that's more of a playmaker because right now, I mean, their point guard right now really is Alperen Şengün. He's their
yeah.
point center at this point. So I think they would like somebody else that can really kind of move into that point guard role, a la I don't know, like a Drew Holiday or somebody like that. And also, I think they're kind of wary as far as their forwards are concerned, just because Tari Eason has struggled with injuries the last 2 or 3 years, and he's still out. Dorian Finney-Smith hasn't even saw the court yet this
Mm,
year, which is honestly, I didn't see that coming. I know he had surgery in the offseason, but I didn't know he was going to be out this long, and there's been pretty much zero updates as far as when he's going to be coming back. So
mm,
I think that they would like to get another rotational type player. I don't see them making any major moves like going out and get John Morant or Trey Young or anybody like that. I
mm,
don't really see them as players that MA will really like on his team because,
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, Rafael Stone is the GM, but you have to be an MA type of player if he's going to bring in that type of player. I think they're really on the same page when it comes to that. So I think it'll be more of a minor type move, but it'll still be somebody that's actually that'll be playing in like the main 9 or 10 man rotation.
Do you think, of course, potential moves coming up next, well, in a couple weeks, but
Yeah.
possibly, is this team maxed out defensively? Because we know he's a defensive guy. You gonna sacrifice defense when you trade away Brooks and all those guys to bring in KD.
Yeah.
Is this team on all cylinders as much as you think they could be defensively the way the roster is right now?
I think it can. It's just they haven't been able to see Dorian Finney-Smith at all, and
Well, yeah.
that's been a major issue as far as just seeing how good this team can be. And then Tari Eason is one of your better defenders, and he got hurt, so he's been out. So it's been kind of hard to tell exactly
Mhm.
what this team can be defensively. But recently, they've gotten a lot better. Before that game last night, I mean, they were actually top three in defense. They had gotten,
Yeah.
from the start of the season where they were struggling a little bit. Now they had gotten a lot better, but I think that they can get even better throughout the season. Because, like I said, Dorian Finney-Smith was the person that was supposed to replace Dylan Brooks. He's supposed to be another 3 and D guy, and
Mhm.
they just have not been able to see him at all on the court. And of course, you still have Amen Thompson, who will be all first team again on the defensive side. But Kevin Durant, he has his moments, but of course he's 37 years old, and the Rockets didn't bring him here, because he's an elite defender.
Yeah.
So, you have to kind of, like you said, you have to kind of make up for that as far as, Dylan Brooks was your second best defender, at least last year. Of course, before that, he was your best defender, especially one-on-one, playing on the basketball. So, I mean, and Alperen Şengün has gotten better. He had tied career high in blocks last night with 5. So he's gotten better as a rim protector, but he's still not a traditional, he's not like Wembanyama, who's going to go out there and dominate and
Yeah.
block shots every time on the defensive end. So they still got some work to do on the defensive end. Like I said, with Reed, he still has a lot of work to do on that side of basketball. So it's kind of hard for them to tell because they're not healthy right now. But at the same time, you'll have between December and the trade deadline to kind of make those moves. I don't think they'll just make a move like on December 15th. I think they want to kind of see the entire roster if they
Mhm.
can together. And then, but I do think they'll still make some type of move before that trade deadline coming up in February, like right
Yeah.
before the All-Star game.
That makes sense. So do you cover every home game? Are you at all 41 home games?
Most of them. Some of them I
Okay.
don't get to, but I'm usually at most of them. But it's been so crazy. They barely had, I would say, if you're talking about last month and this month, they'll probably have 6 home games, 7 total, because they've had the weirdest schedule I've ever seen following or watching a Rockets team. It's just been kind of crazy because coming into Utah, they hadn't played a back to back.
Yeah.
They had played the fewest games in the league out of any team by like 2 games. And then now they're going to be on the road. They're in like a 16 road to 4 home game stretch over the next 20 games. So it's just been a really weird dynamic this season. But yeah, I try to make it out to, at least 3 or 4 home games a month and, as many practices. But as you know, once the season starts, they don't really practice that much. Surprisingly, they only really practice sometime maybe once or twice a month. So yeah, I try to get out there, as much as I can.
So, and do you do road games too, or just both catch all the home games?
So this is my 4th year. I hadn't did a road game yet, but I plan on doing some this season. Definitely probably, try to get out to a Dallas or San Antonio, somewhere more closely local, because unfortunately I'm not big time yet. So they don't pay for my travel or anything. So that'll pretty much be all on me. But yeah, I definitely plan on getting out to some road games this year and kind of experience that and see, how that dynamic works with them being on the road.
Yeah, I understand that. So have you caught a Spurs game at home? And if so, just what's it like seeing Wemby in person? I mean, I hate to give credit to other teams, and we Rockets we Rockets through and through, but that dude is something else. So what's it like seeing him in person, man?
Yeah, so they hadn't played him at home yet this regular season. Of course, they'll be playing him coming up. Hopefully, he'll be back by then. But I saw him last year, and yeah, it's a totally different experience watching him in person. I've never seen anything like him before in my entire life. And yeah, as much as you want to not like Wembanyama just because he's with the Spurs, I mean, he's going to have multiple MVPs. He's going to be, the best player in the league at some point. I mean, he was already kind of trending towards that way earlier this year before he got hurt. But that's the main thing with him. Will he be able to stay healthy? Because we've seen with players his size, that's not always an easy thing. We saw it here in Houston a couple of different times with Ralph Sampson and then with Yao Ming. So that's really the main thing with him is, can he stay healthy enough to, get to that point where he is the best player in the league? But yeah, watching him in person, it's just like, it's amazing what he can do at. I don't even know what size he is now because they keep changing it up. He was 7'4". Now they say he may be 7'6", or whatever he is. He's probably the most, I mean, there's no other way to put it, alien-like player that they've ever seen in the NBA. And that includes even players like Giannis, just because of what he can do outside of, the basket as far as the three-point line and his handles. And yeah, it's pretty amazing to watch what he can do out on the court.
And I mean, KD was that alien dude coming out, 7-footer with that handle, and now him at 7'6", handling it like that, man, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Kevin Durant has to look up to him like we would look up to Kevin Durant when we talk to him. So that's what's the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, for sure. So being born and raised in Houston, is it Longhorns or Cougars or Aggies, or who you rock with in college? As far as,
well, definitely the Cougars, but this is
okay.
I mean, it's definitely a Longhorn city. I mean, it's no doubt. Like, I mean, I know Kevin Durant talked about that when he got here. Like, this is a Longhorn city. And I mean, unfortunately, he's right. It's definitely a lot more Texas Longhorn fans, but at the same time, like before Kevin Sampson got here, the U.S. basketball team was bad for like 20 or 30 years. The football team really hadn't done much outside of they had a couple good years with Sumlin was here.
Yeah.
And then if you go back to the 90s, of course, with Andre Ware, but in between that, they weren't very good. So, I mean, I can kind of see why, everybody kind of gravitated towards Texas, even though, if we're being honest, they hadn't really won much either in basketball. They hadn't won anything in basketball. And of course, football, outside of Vince Young, championship year, they hadn't won much. But yeah, it's definitely a Longhorn city, even more than Texas A&M, even though, Texas A&M is closer. But it's definitely a Longhorn, city, front and back, unfortunately.
I got you. I had to just see how the dynamic was.
Yeah.
Jonathan Sanford, man, the PA guy, you get to interact with him that much?
So I haven't had a chance. I actually plan on eventually having him on the show. I do see him all the time because he be in and out of the media room. I've talked to him a few times, and I know he does. If I'm mistaken, he does Longhorn games as
Yeah.
well.
Hmm.
So yeah, he's the few times I've been able to talk to him, he's a really nice guy. I know he took over for Matt Thomas, if I'm not mistaken. He used to do the PA
Okay.
for a long time before he switched over to the radio side, and he
Hmm.
does the radio play-by-play now. But yeah,
Okay.
he's a really, really good dude. A few times being able to talk to him, definitely, loves his job. He's does a great job as well.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I haven't been in a bunch of other stadiums, but he definitely has to be one of the better PA guys in the NBA.
Yeah. Cause we followed each other on Twitter, kind of when Reed was coming, and I had you
Yeah,
on, and so he has the clips posted of his calls and his intros and all that kind of stuff, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. He does a great job.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So when Lachard Binkley is on the court, what's his game like? What's scouting report on this?
Oh man, that basketball was definitely my game back in the day. But the key word was back in the day. I was more of an inside guy. I was more of a post player. Believe it or not. Because when it's regular people playing, ain't a bunch of 7-footers out there. So people like me, that's maybe 6.5. When
Okay,
I'm usually down there in the post. I'm more the rebound post up player type guy that can occasionally kind of step out on 3-point line. But yeah, I had some pretty decent post moves back in the day.
there you go.
I would love to get back out there, but that's kind of taking a chance at this point in my
Yeah,
life. So that might have to be, I might have to say that for the younger people.
I understand, man. I'm
Yeah,
I am with you. So when I make my first trip down to Houston,
yeah.
what's 2 or 3 things I just you can't leave H Town without doing this. You got to go here. You got to do this. You got to do that.
Like you said, you already talked about, of course, the Toyota Center. You also, you definitely got to check out, one of the barbecue places. I mean, you can pretty much throw a dart at any of the barbecue places down here, and pretty much, you're gonna find some pretty good barbecue. For instance, I always hit up Rudy's. That's one of
Mhm.
my favorite, barbecue places here. And of course, you got to hit up Bucky's. I mean, you can't come to Houston and not go by, Bucky's. I don't know if y'all ever. I know they're expanding. I don't know if y'all ever heard of them down there in Kentucky, but it's
They
probably the biggest. I can't even call it a convenience store, gas station, because it has 100 gas pumps, but it's kind of hard to explain. They got pretty much everything you can think of that will be in a gas station, but I'll also be in a Walmart, and it's a bunch of um, animal mascot type stuff in the store. It's really hard to explain, but you definitely have to check out Bucky's. And also, they were voted the best bathroom in the entire country
hey
as
man,
far as store. So that's another one of the things that they are definitely well known for. So yeah, you definitely have to check out Bucky's if you come through town.
because they have. I live I live in Tennessee now, but nothing orange about me. So
Yeah.
my wife and I were going to Nashville,
Uh-huh.
and they got one. See, they Cookville or Crossville on the way.
Yeah.
And I think at the time they built it, that was the biggest one in the world. And we had
Yeah, I
we had
remember that.
heard
Yeah.
about we'd heard about these Bucky's, and they out of Texas, and now they expanding
Yeah.
them and doing this, that, and the other. So we were half skeptical. We were like, okay, let's go. Let's see what these
Yeah.
Bucky's are all about. We took the exit and just stopped and got out the car in Lachard, and we
Oh yeah.
and like the first thing, the gas pumps for just miles. I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
golly, I was like, man, all these gas pumps. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So we found the empty one, had to get gas anyway, and got one. And then walked in, and it was like an airport and a Subway
Yeah. It's hard to
and
explain.
Grand Central Station and
Yeah.
Walmart. Just all, and where I'm from in Kentucky, you have all these fall festivals. Every little
Yeah.
town has their own little deal. Like where I'm from, it was a swap and meeting. You had hillbilly days, and there was, you throw a bunch of fall festivals in there. All of
Yeah.
that just balled into one. I was like, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
so,
It's an
so,
experience.
and now they do have one. It's smaller, It's in Richmond, Kentucky. It's about 30 minutes outside of Lexington. It's not as big as the first one we went to, but I took my mom to that one. We took her to a Kentucky game, and my sister and I had been to the Buc-ee's, and mom hadn't yet. And so we like, let's pull in and take mom there. She was, what in the world is this?
And I don't know about there, but like the one here close to where I stay at, near Katy, it was that at the time like the largest car wash in the entire world. So I mean, it's something always, interesting about, the different parts of going to a Buc-ee's for sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, they are something else, man. And you're right. You gotta, until you go into one, and man, those, what do I get? The fajitas, the briskets, and oh man.
Oh yeah. Everybody got to get the brisket sandwich or the turkey nuggets.
Yeah,
and then they have a whole wall of beef jerky.
Yeah.
So you can pretty much think of any beef jerky you can think of, they have right there. So yeah, it's pretty much always 2 or 3 things everybody usually gets when they come out of there, along with the other 20 items.
That cheesesteak fajita is like a small child, man. It's like carrying a baby. That thing's so heavy.
Yeah. They don't cheat you on food, that's for sure.
They sure don't. They sure don't.
Yeah.
Well, man, I can't thank you enough for hopping on here, talking some Rockets, some NBA,
absolutely.
some Reed Sheppard. I think I see you tweeting out your news clips from early in the morning every now and then. I listen to Rocket Fuel, and I see you on TV. So have you gotten people recognize you in the city? Man, where I seen you from? I've seen you. You gotten that stuff happen?
So I've gotten it a few times because, of course, I do have a regular 9-to-5 job as well. Because, like I said, I didn't start. I haven't been doing journalism my entire life. I started doing this back in 2019 when I started writing. So I still have the same 9-to-5 job I had before. And it'd be a few people be like, and of course, my name, it's kind of hard to forget my name. It's not like, it's a basic name that, kind of blends in with everybody else's. So usually they see the name or they hear the name, they'd be like, oh yeah, ain't you that guy that does this? Or I heard your voice on one of the press conference, because like I'm always in the front row at every press conference. Like I always have the exact same seat. So yeah, it'd be a few people. I can't say I'm a celebrity or anything like that, but yeah, it's a few people be like, oh yeah, that name sounds familiar. I figured that was you. So yeah, it's still kind of weird.
I bet, man.
Yeah.
Because we went to the Florida game, my wife and kids, to the Kentucky Florida football game, and a lady, her husband was a former player back in the day. He's passed away, but his widow was there, and she saw me. I had her on the show before, and she still listens. And I just hear somebody holler my name, and so my wife and kids are like, "What? How does somebody really gonna know you out of all these people?" But it was. I ain't on your level, but that was my little.
I'm still. I still don't see myself at anything but how I started. When I started writing for Overtime Heroics like 6 years ago, and I was literally almost paying them to write there because I was paying money for advertising and things like that. So yeah, I never see myself as anything more than just a fan that's is able to go out there and cover the game. So I'll never complain about going out there, and I could work 24 hours, and the 25th hour, if it's a game, I'll still go to it because that's I never thought I'd be able to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. So we don't take it for granted. Get to have that perspective, and yeah, man, for sure. So keep up the good work, man, and
appreciate that.
Appreciate you taking time to hop on here. We'll put a bow on this one, but y'all check Lachard out. Rockets SI, Rocket Fuel here on Believe Network, BLEAV.com. Like and subscribe to him the same way you do here to us and Believe in Kentucky. And thanks again for the Reed knowledge. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and anytime, definitely. I always have a great time jumping on the show. So yeah, let me know, and I'll definitely come back on.
Absolutely. And y'all check back tomorrow. I'm going to have Taylor Beth Davis. She does the SEC State of Mind podcast with former Auburn quarterback Jason Campbell. So y'all check back tomorrow. We're going to chop it up and talk UK, North Carolina too. We'll see what they do late night tonight at 9:30 against the Tar Heels. But for Lachard Binkley, this is Vinny Hardy. Another episode of Believe in Kentucky. We'll holler at y'all next time. Go Cats.